What in me is dark? I'm not sure if this is Guilleme or Rosa, but let's go with it. Whoa. No light, but rather darkness visible. But that is not me. What is in me is not me. I fought with it, lived with it, survived. Yet we become what we subdue. If this is true, then I was never myself. The fuck? I am not a monster. Then what are you? Oh dear. Tired. Okay. Yeah, I kind of thought this. Okay. I see her slowly phasing in from the background. Did you even really love me? Or were you just hungry? It is hard to divide that line sometimes. Okay. Hunger hovers over every action I take. Maybe I was bored. That's sweet of you, Gilly. Truly, marvelously classy. What are you doing in my dream, Catherine? I came to punch you in the face, you fucking bastard. And then, perhaps, say goodbye. Pain wells up in my throat, and I answer it with anger. Goodbyes are pointless. I have no need for them. You're just another voice in my conscience that will fade away in time. No, I am not. You're still a bastard, mind you. But I love you still. And I loved you. But does that matter now? I will love another quite like you in the future. You know, I can always tell when you're lying to me. Your mouth does that little twitch, and your nose flares up like you smell something bad. That man you knew is gone. He was nothing but an illusion you yourself designed, my dear. I only adapt. Then why do you still do it? How can I still tell you're lying? I'm not. Liar. You were holding a telescope. Wait, is this her or... Oh no, it would have said, Catherine. You were holding a telescope. I don't see it. Sagittarius is over there, I laugh, pulling your hand to the night sky. Beneath this blanket of stars, the brightest one was sitting right beside me. Would you believe me if I said I never meant to kiss you? But I'm glad I did. I had hoped you wouldn't see my hand shake. In your eyes... yeah, we're back to this again. I remember this. I remember when he said this. In your eyes, I felt I am somebody worth loving. I am a lie. But that was the truth. The arrow you struck my heart with works both ways, Mon Kyle. I had loved you since I was a child. And you had to keep this mask on for years, longer than you usually had to. But you see, when you become something for a long time, it imprints on you like a seed. Maybe you like keeping this face, Mon Kyle. Your cat died today, and we buried it in my garden. You were crying so hard nobody could comfort you. Candies or sweets and bribes never worked. In my desperation, I said, everything dies, as if that was a truth worthy to be told to a child. Did you know that the baker's dog also died? Things die, so please don't be upset. Your eyes stared up at me. To my surprise, you began to laugh. Gilly, you're such an idiot. The baker's dog also died. Are you really trying to cheer me up? I shifted uncomfortably in my boots, but your laughter had you in stitches. You took away my love. But you can't take away my memories. Memories falter and fade. When you have lived as long as I have, memories are cheap. Love is cheap, Catherine. I'm sorry, Guilleme, but I can't agree with you on that one. I mean, I get why you would say something like that, but I can't wholeheartedly agree with you on that. So would you please leave me now? I don't want to remember you anymore. I don't want this. Once upon a time, there was a man who lost his heart. So he eats others. I never lost it. I've always been cursed without it. Then take mine. Yours. Take my love with you until the end of time. You'll never go hungry again. That's not true. You hated me at the very end, just like everyone else. Well, you ruined my life, so of course I hated you. You lied to me. You used me. But... Love and hate can be so similar. It's as simple as flipping a coin. And there are the two heads of a coin. Can't have one without the other. But don't give me apathy, Guilleme. I want my memory to burn as bright as a star in your mind. And this memory I want you to remember me by is not my body hanging lifelessly by a rope. Remember me as the child who loved you. My dear Guilleme, I love you. I forgive you. An unfamiliar bitterness washes over my tongue. It threatens to sting my eyes with tears, clenching my throat with pain. I'm already past that point, hon. I'm already feeling that, so you need to get in sync with me. Curiously, it's a sensation almost foreign in its rarity. Love. Is it possible? Can I love a memory? Sure you can. Can I survive with only your love to give me sustenance? I take a steps towards you. Something stirred in my dreamscape, and suddenly you're not there anymore. What the fuck? I see you in the distance. A semblance of your visage, upon a grassy hill. The sky is dark. The moon hangs ominously upon your head. Catherine, run! But you cannot hear me. My legs are draped in clear jelly. In dreams, everything is slow. I cannot get to you in time. What the fuck is this? Your face begins to change. You are Catherine. You're Emily. You are Marcus. Oh my god, he's naming, oh my god, these are all his previous lovers. Oh my god. You're a Diomedes. You're a Psyche? I think that's Psyche. Your head begins to snap and distort. The skin bubbles and the flesh tears to reveal the pulsing hide of the monster inside. Your glistening heart pumps in your chest. Your feathers prune and majestic from recent feeding. Yet I am not afraid of this thing and its many mouths. You are merely holding a mirror up to me. A slithering hand wraps around my neck and lifts me from the ground. The pressure tightens as I struggle. One of your tongues licks at the side of my belly, as if sampling the food before the course. Running away again? Content to starve yourself and feed off a memory? Pathetic. You still look like Catherine. Maybe that is the most painful part. I can't bear to look at you. Why starve yourself when there is plenty to eat? Why beg for scraps when you can gorge? Did you really think your life could change? Now I understand what this red voice is. The red voice, what the fuck, Nova? The red text, this is supposed to symbolize this creature. The same creature that's inside Rosa. This is, okay. This makes a lot more sense now. Okay. This is a very fucked up image that I'm looking at right here. Good God. You know better. Son of beauty. Brother of night. Love. That's you. You are a sickness. Wherever you will go, this shadow will haunt you. Collect your trinkets by all means. Relive your precious memory. But know that you will be nothing more than a hypocrite. A clean man walking in a mountain of filth. Open your eyes. Open them. Behold my true, glorious form. Humans are insatiable. Men and women, they are all rabid for love. I wouldn't go that far. Many people do crave love, or at least affection or the attention of other people, but ugh. How many times have you been their toy? Humans are cruel to things they desire. That's somewhat true. Not everybody is, but again, don't lump everybody in the same category. I must be powerful. I must be on top. I control them instead of them controlling me. I will not be a piece of meat. Never again. Your face softens and the grip on my neck drags me close to your lips. The fuck am I looking at? You claim your mouth with yours and it tastes just like honey. Spit ropes between our lips. Love is my sustenance. Love is my sustenance. I will take what I can, because they so willingly give. I must get rid of this dastardly spell I am under. It is playing with my mind. Catherine is gone. Wait, is this Guilleme now? I'm so confused. Catherine is gone, like her memory. In the end, this was all an old vile magic. A cheap parlor trip. Whoever touched me will pay. Okay, this is Guilleme then. Guilleme woke up with the dream, still fading from his memory. He was not in his room, but in Catherine's. This did not surprise him. Whoever cast the spell did not do so on a whim. To take him away from his sanctuary was to render him weaker. A pure white candle flickered on the table. Its flame looked as though it was ready to go out. I couldn't save you. I tried. Rosa stepped out of the shadows. You! Guilleme stared at her with irritation. What is the meaning of this, Rosa? This is your doing? She looked at him with sadness. I was too weak to save you, Guilleme. Save me from what? From what you are. Guilleme's face crumpled into confused anger. I did not expect such contempt from somebody I trusted. Do you expect me to ask your forgiveness for what I've done, sire? Because I won't. I will stand by what I did. I will do it again if I can. But such a spell requires much preparation. You are not to do that again, do you hear me? I will not allow myself to be subjected to such an insult. I am not trying to do something that petty. I am trying to save you. I do not know what you are talking about. If you persist in this foolish behavior, then I'll be forced to take action. Go ahead. But I will simply try again. Stop it. Guilleme grabbed her shoulders in irritation and shook her. They stared at each other in heavy silence, and Guilleme somewhat regretted his forcefulness. But Rosa did not flinch or look away, even at his outbursts. There was no fear? Nova. There was no fear or fragility in her eye at all. She held her steady gaze until it was Guilleme who looked away. And give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, and I am back, guys. She held her steady gaze until it was Guilleme who looked away. Why? Why are you doing this? You should know how pointless it is. I had to try, Guilleme. If there is a way to save you, I am inclined to take it. I had hoped Catherine's memory might work on you. Guilleme, I cast a spell to give you her memory, so you don't have to resort to feet. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so like all these flashbacks that we had been reliving, this is like literally Guilleme. Okay, this makes sense now. Okay. Guilleme recoiled from her like her skin was scalding to the touch. You. How did you... Rosa just stared at him, her eye clear and resolute. I know what you are because we are the same. We are creatures that emanate desire and feed on love. I had lived with this curse knowing only a semblance of what I am. Mother taught me how to control it, even in her own twisted way. I was lucky, Guilleme. I wasn't alone. But you were. Rosa's eye bloomed with sadness. I can only imagine how hard that must have been. Guilleme staggered back in shock. So there was another one like him. A desperate hope clutched onto him like talons. Was that why he had taken to her so without wanting to feed on her? That's why I'm doing this, Guilleme. I wanted to give you Catherine's memory, like how Mother's memory keeps me sustained. Love doesn't have to be taken like this. There are other ways. Guilleme frowned indignantly. Don't you think I have tried that? You're still very young, I can tell. I've already endured centuries of this curse. I know all the tricks to survive. From strangers to the villagers, I know how much I can take. I am meticulous. Then why must you insist on this method? With no reason to stand for ceremony, Guilleme's face changed easily. Rosa's jaw clenched. She was talking to a stranger now. Yeah, I just noticed I'm not liking that smirk on his face. Yeah, his face lost the virtue that once belonged to a blameless man. It was replaced by a curious, cheeky grin with a perpetual look of childlike mischief. This man irritated her, and yet somehow Rosa felt as if she had known him for a lifetime. He had always been there, hadn't he? Or rather, it had always been him. Why? Because it's fun. And the taste is worlds better. The experience of drawing out love is unlike any human feeling. It is transcends. I cannot talk. Ugh. It's the only moment I feel alive. The only moment I feel like a god. Once you've had a taste of it, nothing else compares. You must try it. I bet you can only afford to be self-righteous because you don't know any better. Well, fuck you, Guilleme. You're wrong. I did it to Catherine. I tasted her love, but I was able to stop myself in time. I knew it would destroy her. So that was you, huh? It made sense that Catherine's love for me waned. That never happened before. Desire can be controlled, Guilleme. I do not wish to control it. Why should I? Admit it, you've longed for that taste since your tongue dipped in its pot. Rosa did not speak. She shifted nervously on her feet. Guilleme went on. We are given this curse to endure, Rosa. Why must we scutter in the corner and humble ourselves? To whom do we abdicate ourselves to? To normal people? They are beneath us. For all their achievements and talents, love is the one thing that can drive them mad. Don't you see? Their weakness is the one thing we feed on. It is the natural order. Guilleme stepped closer to her and touched her bare arm. He tried to hide his bliss. I've told you before. If you need power, then be powerful. I will teach you how to wield it. You still have much to learn. If you will join me, Rosa, just imagine what we can do. We will be powerful, you and I. Rosa's... Hold on, I need a drink. Oh boy. Rosa's momentary confusion faded. The hard look appeared on her face once again. I will never join you. You use people for your gain. So? Guilleme's voice couldn't keep from rising. What of it? Isn't it the rule of human existence? It is all a game, Rosa. A game I play to win. So people's lives are a game to you? Guilleme shrugged. Of course they are. Humans use and abuse, and they throw away on whim. Yeah, that's true for the most part. Okay, I can't argue with him on that. For the most part. Not everyone. They destroy for no apparent reason except that they want to. It took me the longest to understand why. I realize it is simply their nature. Humans don't play fair, but I do. Do you now? Do you now? And I still get ahead. Rosa's eye narrowed at Guilleme. How can you throw people away so easily? Don't you see that there are good people, like Catherine? Yeah, exactly. If it was like one of those bitches from the first 2 episodes, I could see you having your way with them, but Catherine didn't deserve that. Emily either, for that matter. Shoot. You are afraid to remember. You are afraid to give them the worth they deserve. You rejected her memory, content to forget her value. Guilleme was silent for a few moments. Then he gave a low snicker. Rosa, Rosa, Rosa. That is an amusing thesis. He looked at her dumbfounded face pitifully. Another chuckle escaped. Guilleme couldn't help it. You've got me all wrong, Rosa. I do not undervalue people. In fact, I love them. That voice cracked, though. I revere them. I am grateful. They sustain me, after all. That alone deserves all the appreciation and care I can give. I loved Catherine with every fiber of my being. She was a kind soul. She tasted perfect. But I think you underestimate how long I had been on this dirty, forsaken rock. Good people are not rare and precious treasures. As such, they are not to be handled any differently from the rest. I don't agree with that. What? And all this talk about worth. Do you mean some people are worth more than others because they are kind? Okay, you're gonna really stick it to me like this, Guilleme? Like people are equal in the sense that, you can't put like one race above one other, one national group or creed above another, one faith above another, one sexual orientation over another. Like, you can't, say that, certain people are worth more than others in that sense. But then you do gotta look at, oh yeah, I forgot beauty too. That's a big one. Whether or not somebody is considered attractive versus someone who's average or not attractive, disabilities. Like, there's a whole list of things that you can't try and say this person is better than the other person because they have this or they lack this, But the kindness thing, I feel that is a big to do, because this world is so tainted. Like, if we look back at how 2016 rolled out overall, like, it was just a huge clusterfuck of a year. Like, between the number of people passing away, some of the issues that sprung up on the news, even this election, that we had recently, with the U.S., the world is in a really bad state. So, and there are some really messed up people out there. Like, I literally just read something about a mother who basically allowed her boyfriend to act out a rape murder fantasy on her 14-year-old daughter. Like, what the actual fuck, And there's probably tons of stuff that's even worse than that, believe it or not. And that's scary, and at the same time not surprising, because again, people are really, a lot of people, not everyone obviously, but a lot of people are really messed up. And when you do find the one or two people, so to speak, that are kind, or who are trying to at least better themselves or look out for other people, I do feel that they should stand out more, because everyone else has this me personality, this me outlook on things. They only want to look out for number one, or they only, so I do feel like, in a sense, I mean, I don't want to really say that they're worth more, but I do think of them more, because it's so easy to just be like everyone else, so to speak, to just stay in your own little bubble, to not be concerned about other people, to not want to help other people, So, fuck you, Guilleme. What if from now on I only consume bad people? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you should do that. Yeah, I would be happy about that. Or how about those in the lowest caste of society? Ruffian, rapists, thieves. Yeah, I would be okay with that. Yeah, you should do that. Do that. It is easy to be kind when you're privileged. Actually, no. Oh, actually, okay, he actually has me on that. It is easy to be kind when you're privileged. I can see what he's saying, because when you have everything, you can give everything, so to speak. Whereas, if you're lacking in everything, like, I guess it's sort of a bad example, because you can have somebody who, is rich, and that's kind of like a stereotype when you meet rich people or celebrities and they are just not the nicest people because they feel like, oh, well, because I'm at the top of the ladder, I can just shit on everybody and nobody could, give a hoot. But you can also have people who are, on the bottom of the ladder, so to speak, that think just like that. Hey, you know what? Nobody's looking out for me, so why should I look out for anybody else, Kind of works the same way if you think about it. So, when he says it's easy to be kind when you're privileged, that's true to an extent, but it's also easy to be kind when you aren't privileged. I mean, I forget where I read this or saw this, but I remember somebody made a comment about how people, like in particular, they were kind of making a comment about religious people, about how a lot of you'll note that a lot of people who happen to be like religious minded tend to be people that are not doing well financially. And I guess they were trying to say in a way that because they have nothing else, that's what they kind of cling to. But I don't know, in a sense, that's a good thing because it kind of helps them put things in perspective. Like, maybe this person is barely making ends meet, but they still feel the need to be charitable towards others or to them, their family members or their friends, Because sometimes you can get to the top of the ladder and you can forget that you were once one of the small fishes, so to speak, You kind of forget where you come from and you get a little big-headed. I don't know. Where am I even going with this conversation? I don't know. Guilleme is kind of hitting me. It's like hit and miss with what he's saying. Some stuff I do agree with in a way. In other ways, I don't. And just seeing the smug look on his face just totally pissing me off. Like, I don't know. Mother is still on my shit list. I hate to say it. Well, no, I don't hate to say it. But Guilleme is a close second only because, like, he doesn't feel any remorse for what he's done. Which, I don't know. Like, I'm not totally surprised at this in a way. I'm just more annoyed at this development. I was kind of hoping Rosa could get one over on him, but I don't know if she's going to be successful. But those poor, unworthy souls, surely no one would miss them. Would that make you feel better? Why would you even care what Rosa feels? Rosa faltered. That's not what I'm saying. You know what? Sometimes you gotta take the lesser of two evils. If it meant him not hurting, like, actual innocent people, I would, like, I don't know. I see now why she's faltering, though, because Guilleme is trying to box her into a corner. I don't like this. That is exactly what you were saying. You're telling me I shouldn't feed because there are good people out there that deserve better. Yeah. Actually, yeah. I'm saying that. I don't know about Rosa, but I'm saying that. So if they're bad, it's alright? Yeah. I think so. How terribly judgmental of you. Well, you know what? Fuck you. No, every human being has the capacity for kindness or cruelty. Okay, yeah, he's actually right about that. He's definitely right about that. You can have somebody grow up in a very, like, abusive household, and they can come out to be the most sweetest of people. And then you can have somebody grow up in a very stable household, and they could grow up to be the son of Sam, Like, he is definitely right when it comes to that. But, again, if this person has had a history of constantly being cruel or monstrous towards other people, I say fuck them. Let them, get some justice served their way. And let the good people, live their lives as best as they could. To judge somebody on such a volatile detail that is prejudice. don't know. I mean, I get what he's saying, because I did kind of say this earlier when she was talking about Guilleme, about how she felt like she could change him. Because there are cases where you can reform people who maybe have done wrong in the past. But then there's also cases where there's no saving them. Like, there's no reasoning talking with the person or whatever. You sometimes just have to exact justice, the punishment on them. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that statement he just said. Don't get me wrong, prejudice is a wrong thing, considering I'm African American, and I've actually had some experiences with that. Like, I totally get what he's saying about, prejudice, and stereotypes and things of that nature. At the same time, though, you gotta acknowledge that the reason why certain stereotypes and whatnot have sprung up is because, statistics in a way. Like, a certain number of people have been shown to have certain traits or have done certain things, and so it's just easy to kind of lump it, all those kind of people into one category. I hate to say it, but stereotypes don't just spring up out of nowhere, you know what I mean? So he is right that it's prejudice, but sometimes in a really weird, twisted way, I hate to say it, sometimes you do kind of have to look at past experiences and roll with that. Like, let's say you had somebody who was a known sex offender, especially with children, you wouldn't knowingly keep that person around, like, let's say your child or your grandchildren, or, at a school or any place where there would be children at, simply because you know that this person had a past history. Has the person maybe reformed? Maybe, but would you still take that chance? You know what I mean? So it's like a similar concept, people in the past might have had a history of raping other people, murdering other people, stealing from other people. They might have reformed, but there's still always going to be a slight twinge of doubt. You're still going to always want to be a little uneasy or on guard around such people. So, fuck you, Guilleme. Fuck you. After all, a kind man can mull the death of his fellow man no sooner than a criminal can turn a new leaf. Okay, but Guilleme, don't do this. The truth is, there are no good or bad people. Again, I get where he's coming from, because everyone has the capacity to be good. Everyone has the capacity to be evil. However, it is an active choice. You can be a good person, but then you can actively choose to go against the grain, so to speak, and just do all sorts of horrible things. And then your circumstances could make it that you could be a bad person by default. Like, it would be totally understandable why you are a completely fucked up person. And yet, you're striving to not be that. You're striving to be charitable. You're striving to be helpful. Maybe you have some really, really bad vices or demons within you, so to speak, that you're trying to ward off. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I do feel that there are good and bad people. I get what he's saying, that they might not be 100% good or 100% bad, but I do feel like the choice to be good or choice to be bad, is something you have to do, not something that you're just born with, Like him, he doesn't have to, like, he could be like Rosa, he doesn't have to feed the way he has been feeding. He could find another means to sustain himself. So the fact that you're choosing to do it this way, to me, means that you're choosing to be a bad person. You could be a good person, but you just choose not to. Same thing with Rosa. She could be a bad person like you, but she's choosing not to do that. She's choosing other means to keep herself sustained. So let's not even do that, man. Let's not even do that. There are just people. And I'm not picky. Fuck you. Stop saying that. Yes. And I got an achievement. But let's see if we can... You don't really believe that, do you? You hurt like me. You want acceptance like me. Oh, Rosa, don't cry. I know deep down inside you want something more. More than a feeding or a craving. You've written as much in your diary. You sneaky little minx. Didn't I tell you weren't supposed to touch that? Stop. Please, just stop this, Guilleme. I implore you. Her pleading face stirred something in Guilleme, but the callousness in his heart had decades to harden. He snorted. Or what? What do you plan to do, little girl? Is this it? Is this your plan? Put on a light show and talk me to death? Surely you didn't think it would be that easy. If you have a different offer, I'm all ears. God, I cannot stand the smugness on his face. I thought as much. Well, good talk. Albeit a little pointless, I'm sure you'll agree. Fuck you. You know what? At this point, I'm kind of wishing she would kill him, because... Ugh. I can't stand this snarkiness. Is that what you think of Catherine, then? Nothing but cattle? Guilleme winced despite himself. I love Catherine. I know you, too, loved her completely, whether you admit it or not. You can't take love without giving it, can you? Guilleme sighed in annoyance. Just another spoke in the old fun wheel. You're lying if you said you are not the least bit troubled by your actions. That's a start, Guilleme. The first step. It means you are not as cold as you want to appear. If you admit your guilt and take responsibility for her death... Guilleme waves her away with an indifferent scoff. I refuse. Her death was her own... What the fuck? Okay, yeah, she might have actually committed suicide, but I'm pretty sure you drove her to that point, so let's not even... No. Her death was her own decision. I had no hand in that. Bullshit. She reaped what she sowed, and I collected. That is all. She wouldn't have reaped that if you didn't... This son of a bitch. With this validation, the assured smile came back to his lips. He shrugged. Who knows? Maybe she could have gotten better over time. Most people bounce back from the loss of love. Or not. Who really knows? Is it my fault she gave me everything? I didn't ask her to. Which was only fair. Like you said, I didn't hold back. It was an equal exchange. Rosa's throat went dry. Oh, love. Love is the strongest force in the world. But it is never pure. Always tainted. Always poisoned. No, that's not true. You just never experienced true love. What are you talking about? Well, I hate to shatter this vision you have of Catherine, but she wasn't so righteous. She was as selfish as everyone else. What? Think back, Rosa. Did you really think her sister's death was a complete accident? Wasn't it convenient? Oh boy, another achievement, Emily's fate. Wasn't I convenient for little Miss Paride? Yes, of course, convenient and perfectly adequate. Sweet, boring, obliging Marquis de Gaulle. Wasn't he so easy to love? He could help her achieve her grand dreams, give her the good life that hovered just beyond her reach. After all, Guilleme didn't seem to have any plans of his own, did he? As if satisfied to exist only for her? Honestly, what a catch. What an impressive pedestal. Even when the core of this love poisoned her, she made no attempts to leave. I wonder why. Ah, now there's a question. Why indeed? Because she had hope, Guilleme. She stayed hoping her feelings for you would return. That was how much she loved you. Guilleme scoffed. How sweet of you to say. You really thought Catherine stayed with me just for love? And not at all because she was scared, insecure, comfortable. Guilleme tapped his chin in mock contemplation. Or maybe she wanted so badly to be a marquis's wife. Oh, come the fuck on. Okay, I can kind of see where he's coming from with the whole, like, she wanted to have security, so to speak. Because there was that kind of hinted at during the scene when Emily died. That was kind of hinted at, that's what she was thinking. But I do feel like the love that she did get for Guilleme, you know, was genuine. Like, she was actually at first very hesitant to even open that door, so to speak, with him early on. And she let down her guard because she figured, you know what? I've known him for so long. We've been through so much together. Let me see where this goes. And they wound up getting freaking engaged. So I do feel that it was genuine on Catherine's part. Like, maybe to a slight degree, she might have actually clung to him at first because she wanted that security, because she was feeling very insecure. But I seriously doubt, like, she wanted to marry Guilleme just for, like, the title, you know, and no. So I'm upset with him for even trying to suggest that that's all Catherine was about. No. Such a proud girl she was. Must she settle for anything less? This will show all the people who used to scorn and underestimate her. They who called her sister a whore. The ones who called her and her mother mad. That will show them. Rosa took I can't even talk. Rosa took a shaky step back. It is not true. I won't believe it. Catherine was a kind person. So what? Does it matter? Does being kind justify selfishness? Here we go again, hitting me with these questions. Does being kind even save anyone? Yeah, at times. Depending on the circumstances, it can, yeah. You are heartless. Maybe. It has been so long I can't tell. Always the love of self is first, Rosa. I don't take it personally. Shut up. Don't you ever get tired of justifying your hunger? So Catherine wasn't perfect, yet you simply passed the blame. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I still feel that compared to a lot of people in this novel, she's probably one of the best characters there ever was. So, fuck you. All just excuses. The truth is, you just don't want to stop, do you? Exactly. I just finished saying that. He's choosing to go about it this way. He doesn't have to sustain himself this way. He could do it the same way Rosa has. You're no god, no higher being. You're nothing but a common vampire, a monster. Guilleme's face twitched. Feeding on the love of the people who love you? You must know how wrong that is. Guilleme's fist shook visibly, but he kept his smile. His voice remained calm and pleasant. I don't care, I flipped it around, I don't care. So you compare me to storybook monsters now, Rosa. How insulting. But yes, wouldn't it be easier if I dined on blood or flesh? Something tangible, perhaps, something physical. Things would have been so much simpler. After all, if I drank blood, I wouldn't have to tangle with their lives. He turned to Rosa, his eyes burning so that she could feel the heat in his stare. I wouldn't have to be sane. Guilleme's voice shook with anger. She flinched. You self-righteous minstrel, how dare you talk to me about guilt? How dare you call me a monster? You chastise me, singing songs of praises for the greater good. Have you ever tasted your own betrayal on the lips of the person you loved? Do you know what it's like to strangle hope with your own hands? I look into their eyes and see them die from the inside out. Am I worth it? Am I worth all their lives? Never. But I do it again and again, just for the right to exist. You read my journal and act like you know me. You know nothing, Jon Snow. I wish I was a monster. Maybe then I wouldn't have to feel. The silence reigned between the two of them. Guilleme's face went blank after his outburst, almost confused at the words that came out of his mouth. He forced his lips into a placid grin. Pardon me, I didn't mean to shout. He took a deep breath and refused to speak again. Rosa buried her face in her hands. He was right. She had come here with an overestimation of herself. Her ethics were the cries of a child. How could he listen to someone immersed in her own tender ideals? If she wanted to help him, she had to know his pain. But what could she say? Her mind struggled with the words. They all sounded artificial in her head. All she could do was hold out her hand to reach him, couldn't she? She could offer him hope, a little warmth away from the chunk of ice beating inside of him. She approached him tentatively. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have spoken such hateful words. But don't you see? You don't have to endure this pain anymore. I am offering you a different path, Guilleme. Let me help you. He didn't speak nor move. Rosa held on to the pain she saw in his eyes a moment ago. It was her only hope. But if there was ever a trace of it in his face, it had flitted away before it took substance. His abject face contorted into a grin. He chuckled. Then his laughter filled the room, cold, bitter laughter that chilled her skin into a shiver. Rosa drew her hand away in fear. You really don't get it, do you? I meant to say, that is what makes it substant. It is precious. What? Make no mistake, I endure all this not for something as silly or disposable as blood. Love. Love is worth all the pain. The best wine tastes like the dirt from which it was exalted. Rosa's mouth dropped in horror. She stepped away from him. A cold shiver passed her spine. No. No! No, Guilleme! She stared at him, grasping at the flicker of hope that came as fast as it went. He had built a kingdom from the maze of his own heart. Both ruler and prisoner, both exalted and doomed. She could feel the cracks in his armor, the crumbling of a wall. He wanted to get out. Rosa thought she saw light in his darkness. A hand reaching out to be saved. But where was it now? Where was this hope? It was gone. Had it ever been there at all? Or did her desire to help him trick her into seeing what she wanted to see? Rosa bit her lip to steel herself. Oh, don't look at me like that. I had the same morals as you when I was younger. But time smooths out our rough ideologies. I was wrong. I thought I could still save you. You are quite full of yourself if you think you can save people. Guilleme took a step towards her, and Rosa's throat closed up. Get away from me. I'm not going to hurt you, Rosa. If you wish to debate philosophy further, we can do so for 1,000 more years. But aren't we ignoring the simple, most potent truth? we found each other. So many souls running around this earth, and we actually managed to meet. Do you realize how momentous this is? I can give you love, Rosa. Oh, for fuck's sake. Forget Catherine or your mother. They're remnants of a bitter past. How long are you going to hang on to their memories anyway? Love is not something to be thrown away, Guilleme. It endures. I know this because I have loved Mother this long despite the pain. She was the first person to show me I matter. From under the folds of her dress, Rosa took out a locket. It was the locket he had given her at the cliff. Guilleme stared at it, confused. Remember the person in the picture, Guilleme? Oh, you got it open. Pray tell, who is it? Is it the Queen? This is my mother. That achievement, though. A dysfunctional family. Oh my god. What? Guilleme's mind went blank for a moment. I felt something for you from the very beginning. My heart felt close to you. I wanted to believe that it's because we are family. Don't you see? That is why I can't give up on your redemption so easily. I care for you more than you think, Guilleme. Guilleme furrowed his brow. Indeed, the woman in the picture stirred something in his memory. And yet, no matter how much he searched his memories, he could not remember. Was there such a woman that bore him a child in the past? A sudden hope dug its nails into his chest once again. He answered this hope with contempt, a force of habit. Pardon me, my memory is a bit rusty. What was her name again? Rosa parted her lips in disappointment. Is that all you got to say? You were carrying my mother's picture all this time. You are my father, Guilleme. That is probably why we are the same. Curiously, there was an urge to take back his haughty words, but Guilleme forced it down. This pain made him uncomfortable. I'm glad something made this fuck uncomfortable. Goodness. Her tears were starting to hurt him. Thank you. Yes. Melt the Ice King. He laughed and shrugged, then promptly clenched his jaw. He didn't like how she made him aware of his own failings. A sudden irritation at Rosa came upon him, and itched to hurt her. Oh dear me. Forgive my cynicism, darling. I don't know. I'm getting a little nervous now because this guy has shown that he kind of gives zero fucks about the people he hurts. And I have a really bad feeling for Rosa now, especially now that she's revealed this bombshell on him. He scratched his chin to hide his distress. That portrait is quite blurry, and I am barren. Rosa staggered. How much of your mother do you really remember? I don't remember anything being birthing me, do you? What the fuck? What kind of name? I'm a fine one to talk because I always stumble my words, but I don't remember any being birthing me, do you? Oh, I see what he's saying. He doesn't remember having a mother, per se. I guess that's what he's trying to say. You must admit the possibility that this mother you speak of was simply a stranger who took you in as her own, Rosa. I mean, I don't want to be swayed. He could be lying for all I know. But he does bring up a good point. Fueled by the force of our curse, she was She was deluded, possessive, and hysterical. I do not deny that I might be the root of her delusion. She must have searched for me and found you by accident instead. Why do I have the feeling he's just like gaslighting right now? Like, this is not cool if this is actually what he's doing. Guilleme shrugged. Like, I don't think like he would have had a locket with her picture in it for no reason. Like, I do think... Hold on one second, guys. Okay, and I am back. An alternate theory, but one that makes more sense. What are you saying? Simple. Whoever created a pathetic thing, such as me, deemed it impossible to scatter my seed. It was just as well. There was a tinge of bitterness in his amused voice. After all, to wish this Alrighty then. After all, to wish this curse upon somebody else, my child, nonetheless, that would make me a different kind of monster altogether. Rosa looked at the locket with shaking hands. She opened her mouth to say something, but promptly closed it. The fight had vanished from her eye. Tears fell as she closed the pendant in her fist. Guilleme fidgeted uncomfortably. If you want to believe it so much, then I can be your father if you so wish. Why did he say that? He admitted that he didn't expect the words to come out. He was only mulling it over his mind, looking at her dejected face. It was pity, wasn't it? A favor out of pity for this poor, lonely girl. Or was it penance? I don't mind. He did his best not to sound distressed. Perhaps a part of him wanted it to be true. Guilleme looked at Rosa and felt the same stirring of affection he had for her through the years. It wouldn't be much of a stretch, would it? He could protect her and care for her like a real father would. Hope began to sprout in his heart again. That dastardly thing grew like a weed. It veered dangerously close to breaking through his pride. Wouldn't it be a miracle? A child of his own flesh and blood standing before him, full of love, disappointment, and confusion. Exactly how a child would look up to their parent. What a nice sentiment. By this time, Guilleme was already well acquainted with the dying screams of hope. He knew which secret places to push in order to kill it. You don't deserve that. Of course. Guilleme laughed, almost a bit too loudly. Rosa winced. Don't look so troubled, my daughter. We're family, aren't we? Enough of such moody, sentimental topics. They bore me. Instead, why don't we start thinking about possibilities? Guilleme, please. She was still bent on changing his mind, but Guilleme could tell her resolve had all but fizzled out. Oh, again, you still haven't given up? I'll admit, you have some spirit. It's admirable that you've go to such lengths for me. I meant it when I say I'm honored. But you are so naive. Tragedy is everyone's friend, Rosa. Fuck that. If you stay with him too long, his smell will linger on your skin. I don't care much for tragedies myself. I'm more interested in opportunities. And what we have right here is a dawning, a beginning. Guilleme stepped closer to Rosa, touching her cheek with his palm. Rosa was afraid, but she didn't make any attempts to run away this time. Aren't you glad you found me? You're not alone anymore. We are blood. You don't have to hide and cower to subject yourself to the motions of this cruel life. Enough of this fascination for glorified sacrifice. Come with me. Rosa stared up at him. What? Come with me, Rosa. He repeated his words with a cheerful smile. Let us leave this place and go far away. Start over. Doesn't that sound grand? It's about time you let go of the bad memories and face something new. Don't you think you owe yourself that much? And what of the victims you will continue to take, Guilleme? What of them? What about them? I care little for strangers. It is you I want to make happy, Rosa. Please let me. I need you as much as you need me. Rosa bit her lip. Mother, I need you right now. Please let me hear your voice. She struggled with the pain in her heart. She was free falling. Mother, to hear Mother's voice. She had always been the ground she stood on, both the pain on her bare feet and a place to stand. Whether she walked or chose to fly, that ground would be there when she landed. Such was the role of family. It didn't matter if she was her real mother or not. What mattered was the love she gave her. The memories were real. She was. You've gone this far, darling. I trust in you. Whatever you decide, I will always be here. Like how I've always been. Rosa's jaw clenched. She tasted the caustic realization in her mouth. Rosa. Oh! And that was when he felt an icy pain shoot through his chest. He looked down. There was a knife sticking out of him. The knife Rosa had stolen from the kitchen. I'm sorry. The blade clattered to the floor. Rosa's lip quivered. But I have to make this right. Guilleme's body lost all strength. He slumped on the floor, blood staining his shirt red. He just laughed in amusement. You stupid girl. So this is your response to my generous offer? How trifling. I expected better from you. Guilleme winced in pain. Been a while since I was stabbed. She knelt beside him. She didn't speak at once. That wound will not heal like the others, Guilleme. Oh. I must end it here. For Catherine, for Mother, for all your victims. For you. I have to do the right thing. She said this aloud, but she only half believed it. The right thing, Was there such a thing? Rosa reveled in this confusion. The least she could do was carry the burden of her choice for the rest of her life instead of forgetting. She had considered simply leaving him, unchanged, and a prisoner of his own twisted ideals. She still could. If she reversed the spell now and allowed him to heal, then he would survive. Young, powerful, and healthy, but unchanged and carrying the same shadow in his heart. She had tried, hadn't she? Whatever he did next should be none of her concern. There was a pinch in Rosa's chest. But to know that she had doomed him to make the same mistakes forever, to stop caring about him and degrade him into nothing but a failure, it seemed crueler somehow. It would make her like him. Guilleme sat up wordlessly, his back pressed on the wall. This pain was different. The blood hadn't stopped leaking from his chest. He coughed and liquid filled his lungs. It was getting harder to breathe. A part of him wanted to ask how she had found a way to kill him. I didn't mean you, Gizmo. I didn't mean you. Are you upset about this? Oh, come on, you can't have feelings for Guilleme. He's an asshole. Anyway, it seemed quite pointless now, a waste of precious breath. He sat there bleeding, willing himself to anger. He thought of threatening her, demanding her to do something. But he didn't. He was surprised to find something else in his heart. Gratitude, of all things. Rosa held Guilleme's hand as the blood continued to pour out of his wound. Dimly, Guilleme reflected that she really did have spirit, the courage to do what he could not. He used the last of his strength to lift up his hand and wipe away her tears. Don't cry. I'm fine with this. His hand lingered on her face for a while. He searched her heart for anger, for bitterness for this girl. I'm sorry, his heart for anger, for bitterness for this girl. But there was none. How curious it was to feel the steel in his heart, and yet no hate for its wielder. How curious it was to know that this was all an act of love. Rosa, you're an anomaly. You confuse me. Maybe if he had listened, would he have? Maybe she was right. He could change. But it was too late for him, wasn't it? It had been too late for him decades ago. Long after he had degraded life, including his own, as pointless and petty. That was the only regret. I wish we had met sooner. He took a deep breath. The pain in his chest throbbed with every breath. Still, it was only a distant buzzing in his mind. The pain was simply white noise. Rosa held his hand tighter. I'm sorry, Apologizing again? I thought I made myself clear with that. Guilleme coughed and tasted metal in his mouth. He chuckled and wiped it away. Rosa, I was never strong enough to endure this life. But it looks like you are. That's good. Your mother raised you well. Got an achievement called Mother. You'll stay with me for a while, won't you? Please. Yes, Guilleme. Take my journal with you. It might help. I would still wish for you to start anew. Board the ship, the papers. Take the money in my office. Use it to build a new life. Guilleme coughed out red flecks of blood. He swallowed, and his throat felt like it was on fire. He had a lot more to say, a lot more to tell her. He tried to speak as clearly as he could, despite the bulge climbing up his windpipe. Avoid small towns. They don't take to strangers kindly. You'll stick out like a sore thumb. Always present yourself as nobility or person of influence. Give people another reason to think you're desirable. Otherwise, they will fear and hate you, confused by their own urges. His breathing was getting erratic. Also, remember to... Shh. Please rest now. Rosa smiled sadly. You're still so generous, even if you are like this. Guilleme smiled. Like what? He chuckled at the memory. Generosity is the only saving grace of the dying. Or a parent, I suspect. I'm happy I found you, Father. Likewise. The last few years I've spent with you were my happiest. Guilleme stared at her, his vision clear now. He pushed a strand of hair away from his face and touched her cheek fondly. My daughter. Rosa's eye filled with tears at this. You are beautiful. At the end, I got to meet you. To know that something good came from my existence. It is not so bad. I love you, Rosa. As do I, Father. Please, be free. Guilleme's redemption, achievement unlocked. Death gave the heart a final gift of bliss. He savored this. Thank you, Rosa. The two of them crouched alone in a corner, cherishing each other's warmth for as long as it lasted. The candle's wick expired, and the room was plunged into darkness. Darling. Yes, Mother. I know it was hard. But all the same, I am grateful. Mother didn't sound spiteful or on edge this time. Final fucking Lee. She was simply serene. Rosa got up, looking down at him one last time. Mother, I cannot get rid of the feeling that I should have done things differently. Should I have done more? Should I have sacrificed more? Achievement unlocked. Play it again. Tears once again stung her eye. I wish I could turn back time and change something. Anything. Okay, you're getting a little too meta, game. I feel so powerless. I understand. Loss will always hurt, my darling. It makes us vulnerable. Yep. You know what? Wow. Mother has a point here. But you must know that changing things does not guarantee happiness. Do you understand? Yes. Oh, my darling, I wish I was there to hold you. What are you going to do now? I don't know. Whichever direction you head, I will be with you. I know you will, Mother. Your presence saved me, as it always does. You reminded me that nothing lost should be thrown away. Catherine, Guilleme, and you will always be with me. I am not alone. I am proud of you, my beautiful daughter. The first rays of light slipped past the window and touched her face. Rosa left the room to welcome the dawn. Closure. Ending number 2, dawning. Well then, guys, I've just completed Cupid. And like I said, there's more than one ending. As you can see, I got ending number 2. I'm sorry too for those that have been watching that this was a super long episode, but once the momentum started going, I didn't feel like it would have done the story justice to cut it into like 2 separate episodes. So, yeah. Interesting ending though. Like, the ending is ambiguous in a sense. Like, Guilleme found redemption. And, Rosa has left to, I guess, make her own path, so to speak. Yeah, but who's to say what her plans are now going forward? Wow. Interesting. Okay. I didn't know this. Okay. My choices. Your main purpose is revenge. You loved Rosa despite your misgivings. You opened Guilleme's locket. You convinced Rosa that Catherine was selfish. You wanted to read more of Guilleme's journal, and you took Guilleme's key. 39% complete. Holy shit. Wow. Okay. You know what? I am going to actually... Where's my phone? I was going to try and write it down, but it might be easier for me to just screen cap this. Actually, you know what? Where's the button that allows you to print screen? Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I got it. Wanted to take a picture of the screen here for the choices, because I have a feeling I should probably reference that when I return to do the other endings for the series. Okay. Yeah, so let's click on bonus for a second. Oh! Look at that. It skipped a chapter. Interesting. And like I said, there are 4 endings. Obviously 3 are locked. But I almost unlocked every chapter. So interesting. The choices that I made, it literally made me bypass an entire wow. Interesting. And then, let's see, gallery. How many pages? Let's see. 1, 2. 2 pictures missing there. 3. 1 picture missing there. 4. Slew of pictures missing here. 5. All but 1 picture here. I mean, I only have 1 picture here. What am I saying? And then the final page is missing 3. Okay. So, very interesting. I gotta say, this visual novel has been a trip and will continue to be a trip because I do want to get all the endings. I do want to see all the nooks and crannies this visual novel has to offer, but I might take a little mini break from it. I don't know. I'll see. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cupid. It was super long. Wasn't expecting it to turn out this way at the end. You know, despite my suspicions of Guilleme, I still wasn't expecting this to happen. So, wow. And I wasn't expecting to get this attached to some of the characters. So this was very interesting. In any event, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope to see you again next time on the channel. Take care.